Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast, and thank you, thank you, thank you. This is take two because I just talked for about 10 minutes and I didn't have my microphone on. The blue button that wasn't blue. You know what? I haven't been feeling well. And by the way, thank you for your kind wishes. A couple folks sent nice things over the Discord. I like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, I hope I'm past the worst of this, man. That was just miserable last night. I had a fever and achy and this booming headache. It felt like the return of COVID because I did have COVID. I don't know. I think last year or something like that. But it was eerily reminiscent, and I was like, I can't go through this again, man. I don't want to go through this. It wasn't like worth what we did to the country. It wasn't worth just absolutely shellacking our supply lines, manufacturing base. It wasn't worth closing everything down. It was an unpleasant couple of weeks, but you soldier on. That's what you do. That's what we do. A cold doesn't keep you in bed, man. Get up, work, earn, do your thing. But yeah, man, I felt just absolutely rotten last night. Now today, feel better. I feel like like a newborn colt. I'm really really shaky. Hopefully I'm past it though, and the day will get better and better. I apologize for the nasally voice, man. You know what? You get what you get. So obviously, we're looking at 26.8 Bitcoin. Now, why? That's always the fun thing, and that's what we never ever talk about. People just don't talk about the why. They will hit you with a lot of innuendo. They will hit you with a lot of Nash equilibrium, but they never really get into the why. Well, the why of this one is pretty damn simple. The feds are loosening their monetary policy. Now, over the last couple of days, they've increased their balance sheet by $300 billion. Round of applause for the feds and increasing your balance sheet by $300 billion. I want to be the first to tell you that nothing negative has ever came from a nation monetizing their own debt. Nothing bad has ever came from that, Zimbabwe. It's just, it's the way that you do it now, Venezuela. So I'm sure it'll be fine. They're real smart. They're smart people. They know what they're doing here. So sure, all will be well. And the other kind of return to the market sentiment, of course, was article popped out from the Wall Street Journal last night, and it was, I think there's about 11 different banks that are basically giving uninsured deposits to First Republic Bank to shore them up. And I know the big names up there was Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Chase, and I believe Bank of America are all giving $5 billion of uninsured. I don't even know the structure. That's the funny thing. They didn't get into that. They didn't talk about the structure. If I'm Wells Fargo and I get a call from the feds and they're saying, "Oh, you're going to give $5 billion to First Republic," I'd kind of ask for some collateral. It's like, I mean, how do I know you're good for this? Because you just had this much money and now it's all gone. So it kind of makes me wonder how your company is managed, because it took you a week and you pissed through $30 billion. But this time, this time it'll be better. It will be better. So, yeah, man, I'm kind of curious. And is this going to be the new way forward? So I could see it from a Fed standpoint. It's easier to work with just a few huge banks and use them to do your bidding. But the feds have got to be guaranteeing these loans to them. They have to be. There's no way any business in the world would give $5 billion to a business that effectively failed. And you just kind of trust them to do the right thing this time. There's no incentive for them to do the right thing. They absolutely bottomed out. They mismanaged their capital. They do not know how to run a bank. And they lost all their money. So that being the case, I'm going to need some collateral here. I mean, I'm going to need something. Do you own property? I mean, do you own anything? Because damn, that's all I have to say on that one is damn. But it did bring back a lot of market sentiment, man, because it's harkening us back to what we were doing in 2020 and 2021, which was just endless quantitative easing, endless printing, endless, maybe leave the interest rates where they are, not keep cranking them up. So it is just seems like the Feds are going to start moving a little bit more fast and loose with their monetary policy. It creates conditions, not conditions of growth. It creates conditions of easy money, but it's very, very short lived because all this is doing is kicking the can down the road. All right. We still have 6% inflation. We still have a wild national debt. All of these things still exist. What has changed from last Friday when we were at the bottom and crying and screaming and, oh my God, the sky is falling and we're all going to lose, to this Friday and suddenly, the sky's the limit? What has changed in the world aside from the Feds doing what they did to get us into this in the first place? Here's something that isn't mentioned much, but it really needs to be mentioned a little bit more. And I don't understand why we tiptoe around this. Businesses don't cause inflation. Consumers don't cause inflation. The working class, the wealthy class, don't cause inflation. The government causes inflation. And to think anything else is wrong. The government is the only entity that can print money. Too much money in the system, you get inflation. So it's just kind of funny to me that we're looking to the same entity that caused this problem to solve this problem. And they haven't done it yet. I understand that this is getting a little bit political, but again, I don't care anymore. This is Radio Scott, and Radio Scott says whatever the hell he wants. But I'm 100% correct on this. Government causes inflation. Mismanagement of capital causes inflation from the government standpoint because they can just print their way out of it. But that money is in the system. And the only way for them to claw it out of the system is to raise interest rates. But when you raise interest rates, because you were so fast and so loose for so many years, the banks decided we're going to leverage everything to hell and gone. And everybody was in on it. Everybody was in on it. They were all making money. Everybody was happy until the music stops. And then everybody looks for a chair. And there's only so many. So, again, very, very unfortunate, but what are you going to do? So, from the crypto standpoint, because this is a cryptocurrency / news, but guess what? It's also / political channel. Things are obviously looking good, man. Look, Mighty Bitcoin is doing what the Mighty Bitcoin does. And, again, market sentiment is returning. And when it does, Bitcoin's going to go up. It's a purely speculative asset. I have no faith in it at all. I don't own any of it. It's not my thing. I don't want to invest heavy amounts of capital into something that is this speculative. I mentioned the Nash equilibrium before, and it's kind of funny because your buyers, holders, hopers, diamond hand people, they're a victim of this. They're 100% a victim of the Nash equilibrium because they don't understand the Nash equilibrium. When you have a strategy, a crypto investment strategy, your strategy only applies and works correctly if you can predict the strategy of the other opponents. Now, we are all not going to make it. That will never happen. The math doesn't work that way. We're not all going to make it. So, even though we want to think we're all one little tribe, one little crypto tribe, and everything's going to be ducky, it won't. It will for some, but not for all. It won't because it doesn't work that way. We're all not going to buy, hold, hope, diamond hand to the moon. We're not all going to live like that. It's simply not going to happen. So your strategy is great as long as the strategy as it was developed and everybody that's working against you or all of your opponents, if they don't change their strategy. But they do. And if you don't, you are going to be falling victim to something that is called the greater fool theory. That's really all it comes down to. I get that it's crypto. Everybody wants 10x. Everybody wants the 20. Everybody wants the moon, the Lambo, buy a McLaren. Everybody wants that. But it is almost mathematically impossible for it to happen. There's only so much capital over here. More tokens are being developed every single day, launching every single day. The market is diluted to hell and gone. And if you are holding on to all of your money, you're holding on to it, and you are waiting for that 10x, the people who are happy with 10, 15, 20%, they're already out. These people are literally working against you. They're working against your strategy because they know you're going to hold. They know you're going to hold, you're going to believe. They know that you're going to buy back as soon as that price dips. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. I love buying the dip. I love people who buy the dip. Absolutely love it because I was already out. I was already out, and I need people to come in and buy that dip and shore that price back up. I am a big, huge fan of buying the dip. And it works great, and it is a good strategy if you were no longer in that position. But if you are DCAing into a product that is continually going down, all you're doing is feeding the people who are in for 5, 10, 15%. It's true. I know. I do it. 15% of a $25,000 buy, guys, is a good day. It's a great day for me. And I'll take it over and over and over. So there's your food for thought for the day. This will be going up on the Patreon. I would love it if you guys would give me some feedback on this. I like doing the radio shows. I like doing it in a radio style format. I get it's very comforting to me for some reason. Old radio guy, man. You guys know how it is. Anyway, it's more done podcast style, but we'll go ahead and shoot them up. Live stream isn't changing. Nothing else is changing. But there you go. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, Scott at ThePodocast.com. I answer any and all. And until next time, please stay safe. Please be smart with your money. I need outro music. I don't really have any outro music. I'll figure something out. All right, guys. Cheers.